Reserve time.
And we'll see, here we go to the final 10 seconds as Burden United, they pick up the darks here.
So what is support shaker then?
And you didn't mind that's in come with me, is going to be on the keeper of the light. Well, here we go, getting ourselves into the first match here at the finals, the LAN finals of Dream League Season 3 with Burden United and Basically Unknown. So far, I've got to say, with these lineups, there's a lot of wombo combo potential.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Burden is the Shaker and the Coddle are going to need levels very badly. Because if you can get a high-level Fissure, or at least like 2 or 3 points into your Illuminate, you should be able to hold your towers for a decent amount of time before Basically Unknown are able to just kind of to walk on you. But again, if Basically Unknown get off on the right foot, it's going to be so difficult for that train to be stopped.
Indeed, so we're going to see the sides come into the game, and well, they don't really need much of an introduction. Worth noting though, 3012 is a rise.
Yes.
It is a rise. It
he
is
could
not
not change his official tag because he changed it some time ago. I think there's like a week or something, I think, between when you can change your professional in-game name. I can't remember exactly how long it is, but it does take a while.
We are just going to have an unfortunate pause here, but do bear with us because we're going to be having a very exciting game on our hands. And we've got to stress, it is indeed best of one. This places you in the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket, and it's a big difference. You know, going into a tournament like this, if you win this, it's what, one best of 3, and then the winner of that goes straight through to the next stage, where you'll join the likes of VP and Alliance.
Yes.
Who are the teams that were finishing at the top 2. Well, they didn't finish top 2. Empire, obviously.
Empire were there,
higher,
but then, yes.
It goes down.
Alliance got subbed in for Empire.
Yeah. So, right, here we go. We're getting ourselves in and we're ready to go, and it looks like we're going to see the side of Basically Unknown. Well, making a walk straight into the enemy jungle here, seeing if they can find anything from the side of Burden United. But Burden United, they've got their priorities down here on the bottom, looking for this bottom room. So it doesn't look like we're going to see too much of a level 1 kind of engagement between these sides. And I mean, look at it, Basically Unknown, they're heading straight up to the top lane. They really want to find someone here. They want to try and find something here. I mean, at the same time, it's interesting to see they have popped down a ward, and I guess, you know, against the side with a Darkseer and a Coddle, there's a large likelihood that Burden United are going to be looking to utilize their jungle.
Well, that's, I think, what Basically Unknown are looking for is we need to make sure that there's no stacking going on. Because, again, if the Shaker and the Coddle get levels, then all of a sudden, like, between Come With Me and Minuts, you have a lot of spam. And that means that the Tier 1 towers become significantly more difficult to push into. And I do feel that an AM and a Queen can go late game in this particular scenario. It's just going to be hard. I think that Burden might have been better off just waiting in the AM pick, maybe even like 1 or 2 more, like 3rd or 4th pick instead of taking it 3rd, because then it just gives away so much of what your lanes are going to be. If anything comes back to bite Burden, it's going to be that pick, at least at that point.
I mean, lane-wise, it's pretty much what we're expecting. It is going to be, of course, the Darkseer on the off lane, and Sing Sing will be on that safe lane anti-mage. But Unknown, they are going to run this aggressive tri-lane against the anti-mage. And well, with the kind of lineup they've got, this is probably the best bet from them.
This is the only thing they can do. I mean, if you're Basically Unknown, you're looking at that AM pick and you're saying to yourself, how bad can I punish this with one of the tankiest supports in the game, being Ogre Magi, who has the potential to just zone out really anyone on his own. We got Shamanin on Disruptor, who's going to be able to find support off, like pulling or something like that, which they even warded the camp. So they really don't want Burden getting anything out of this tri-lane at all. This is kind of the worry that I had, was in this early stage of the game, the only lane that is going to go even close to think, I think to even, is going to be bottom lane, because I think Leshrac is even good against Queen mid. But I guess that one's more dependent on player skill too.
Oh, I'm going to pause, but I have to say there is a wraparound coming in towards the mid lane. I mean, Disruptor is looking for some kind of action here, and the question is, well, does he punish Necro? Because look how deep Necroman is. He's going for it here. He wants to find something against the Rise. I don't quite know if he's going to be able to get away from it.
I think he might just want to throw out a dagger. Like that creep's going to get hit a few more times by the tower, and then he'll probably throw a dagger if a Rise turns around to throw out a CS. It's just like maximizing your harass, because when you know somebody's going for a last hit, then they can't physically attack you and the creep at the same time unless they want to use a spell, which in his case is only a level 1 lightning. So he's level 2, which means he can't possibly have level 3 lightning. So if he hits the creep, he gets daggered, takes damage. Just mid stuff.
I mean, talking about like so the bottom lane Darkseer against the Tidehunter, obviously not a nice lane for the Tidehunter, but he should be able to still find something against the DS. But he's not going to be able to stop the DS from farming as well as the Darkseer does. But then again, there's not a lot of heroes that can shut down a Darkseer.
They both farm. Yeah, I mean, that's the real thing. It's one of the few heroes that Tide, as another melee, actually struggles against. And see a glimpse here, middle lane.
Oh, Necroman, he's surviving on about 15 HP. Arise is trying to find him. He hasn't got mana for anything else, but he doesn't need it. The final little right click is going to be able to punish Necroman there
Very
for
nice
overextending in the middle lane.
Yeah, Shtomanon on top of his game there, being in the right place at the right time. And it was very needed too, because Arise was kind of struggling in the first wave or two. He was not doing well on CS, but he'll be able to recover. Not only that, but he gets to his bottle for free, whereas Necroman, did he actually get his, or is he? No, he's broke. He does not have bottle right now, so that does hurt.
I mean, the CS fairly even, but that kill pretty much telling the story. Top lane, oh, we're going to see a bit of a fight there for the rune. Disruptor will still be able to grab it as Minus just throws out a simple Fissure. And I'm looking at Sing farm so far. He's managed to find 7 CS in the lane at the moment, just behind the Gyro, but I mean, there's not a massive difference between these two heroes. And the anti-mage is still finding something at the end of the day, 2 minutes in.
And not at the moment, there's not a huge difference. The main thing is, if you see a support ever rotate from this lane, and it becomes a 3 versus 2, that's the trade-off that you're making is basically known. We help win mid, which again, looks like Stomanon's looking for a glimpse, but this time he will not be able to get a range for it. Every time he does that, it means that Sing is going to farm.
And they were just hoping for the split earth to connect by the looks of it, and still just 1-0 at the moment. And top lane trying to stop this Sing, but well, he's doing well. 9 CS and this kind of game. Well, Pure Evil maybe looking for a kind of route. He's found Cole here. And they're still kind of just scouting each other out. Stomanon has now returned to the lane. Does have a glimpse available. Is he going to be able to get it? No, can't quite get the vision. Sing is going to make the max leap there back towards his tower. So he's going to be A-OK. And now we're seeing a rotation actually from the Earthshake here coming towards the mid lane. They've got this dagger onto Arise. Can he find the Fissure? Trying to move in close, but I just can't get in range of it. And Arise is going to be able to keep himself alive there in the mid.
I mean, killing him is going to be pretty difficult. At daytime, especially, trying to gank this particular lane, coming in from like low ground or even on the same ground, he's going to spot out the Shaker. Oh, nice block though. Yeah,
it looks like Arise came in for a bit of action, but he might get punished for it. He's trying to turn around here onto Necroman, but the damage is not going to be there. Arise will lose his life, and thanks to the rotation from the Earthshaker, Co-op able to get herself back on the board and pretty much evening out this mid lane situation.
I guess he just must have not seen him, because when he walked to the low ground is when Minots was actually coming in from the other side anyway, so just really nice positioning there from the Shaker, managing to get a fairly important kill. But as you mentioned, the Gyrocopter is not really pulling ahead of Sing by that much. I think a lot of it has to do with the Coddle blasting so far that Come With Me has been throwing out. Most of the time when you see Coddle blast, it kind of clips the wave, but if you just do it so it only hits heroes, the damage that he can put out by himself is pretty substantial, and he's already level 3. So you can see, like, he only hits the range creep there. So it's not like pushing out the entire wave, it's just trying to get some harass out onto the Gyro to ensure that Sing has space to farm.
Bottom lane, Parrish trying to be as annoying as he can here with his 3 points in the Iron Shell. And trying to skip the creeps out as well. But as you're saying, Relax, still able to find stuff. Darkseer has got the edge, but I guess that's expected.
It's a pretty big edge, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, 14 CS difference of 4.5 minutes, that's huge. Like, Sakshka is crushing this lane.
Oh, the drone's coming out on the map here. Ogre Magi is going to look for something. Pure Evil coming round. He's ready for the counter gank to the gank because Minut sits here on the high ground. He's now, they've spotted each other. Now Minut, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to take a 5 blast to the face. And now is Arise here coming in with the haste rune. The Fissure will come out from Minus. Now Necron, he looks for a Sonic Wave, but he whiffs it. It's a nightmare, and Minus will go down as Arise is able to find out. He might find more here. Indeed, Necroman, he can't blink anywhere. He's got an empty ball. He's got nowhere to run. With the Fire Blast, the lightning coming down onto his head, he'll go down as well. It's going to be a double kill for Arise. And Birdie United, just a lot of things not going their way in that little engagement.
That Fissure was pretty heartbreaking, and so was the fact that he didn't manage to land his nukes. I think he was trying to scare Arise, because I'm not even sure that burst would have killed him. Bottom lane.
Bottom lane, Relax. He's got to use the Ravage here to stop Paris, and Paris is searching. He's not going to go in for it as Relax has began to salve back up. And both heroes just getting low, and lucky to have that Ravage there. He's pretty much only just hit 6 there, otherwise he would have been in a lot of trouble there with that Darkseer.
Yeah, at least he's able to keep himself alive. It's not too bad to use Ravage like that if you just want to make sure that your tower is not going to be taking extra damage, but I think he could be in some trouble anyway.
Indeed, Paris is going in there. He's going to be the backup of Stomanon, but for the side of Birdie United, they've got Minus, who put the fish down to relax, and the Tidance is going to go down. Can Stomanon find the kill in return onto Paris? It doesn't look like it. Paris has got the surge. He's going to be well out of there, and it'll just be a clean kill there for the side of Birdie United, taking down the Tidance.
That Glow's actually saving Sakshka in that position. That was... I mean, I understand why he did it. He wanted to just make sure that Iron Shell wasn't going to deal any more damage, but that was a 100% dead tide. And if he just held it to make sure that he could glimpse back instead, they might have been able to get a counter kill. But a little bit of misplaced here in the early game for both teams, but nothing too major. Just back and forth kills.
Sing's got a bit of space now as Gyrocopter has actually headed down to the bottom lane to look for some farm. So they've kind of switched it up here. Mid lane, Arise in position with the Invis rune. He's got the backup of the Ogre and the Disruptor in the nearby. And Necroman's got to be careful, looking for the split up Arise. Oh, he's holding on to it here. So Necroman will just back off, and it's going to be okay for the time being. Nico Baby, though, he might not be okay. They're coming in with a fish. He's going to put the Rocket Barrage. Rocket Barrage versus Iron Shell. Wish he's going to do more damage. It looks like Paris is going to have the edge, the duration. And with that, they take down Nico Baby here on the safe lane. And well, he's switched up the lanes, left the top lane to come down to the bottom, but you're not going to have fun against the Darkseer and the Earthshaker.
That range creep also didn't help either. It's like, I want to help you hit him. Oh wait, I actually just blocked your pathing and now you're dead. Yeah, I mean, he was probably going to die anyway, but it was just kind of like insult to injury in that position. But the fact that basically Unknown have had to kind of disassemble their aggressive trap, and even middle lane, Arise
going straight in with the Fissure, the slow, and now with the Sonic Wave, bringing him low. He's trying to bolt up through. He's going to look for the TP out of Minus. He's got the Enchant Totem with the Aftershock. They'll be able to bring him down there in the mid lane. That's going to be another kill there for Birding United, bringing us to 4 for 3. And well, Paris, he's going to find Pure Evil and give him a bit of a rundown here. Nah, he's gonna leave it. Doesn't want to go deeper. Knows that Nico Baby is, of course, in the region on that Gyrocopter.
It's a very chaotic early game so far from both teams. They don't really know on the side of basically Unknown what they want to do for their lanes 100% anymore, because it's only 8 minutes in and they've already like fully rotated off to what you would expect to see most of the time in these types of lineups, where the supports and the carry have both gone bottom, and now you have your Hunter just kind of sitting in the offlane with his Arcane's finish. But I still would say that this particular situation favors Burden, pretty significantly actually. Just because Sing is ahead of the Gyro in terms of farm. If he gets to Battle Fury, he will continue to outfarm the Gyro for the foreseeable future. And then, all of a sudden, you have an AM who is like free farming instead of the AM that you were supposed to hold down. So I would say everything considered, Burden have gotten out of this early game relatively well.
Well, it's going to be news on Paris, bringing him back into the jungle now. The Fire Blast, the Rocket Barrage, they're bringing him low and they're bringing him down. They'll get the kill there onto the Darkseer. And again, Nico Stomanen with the plays, with glimpses.
Yeah, they're able to kill the Darkseer, which is nice, but again, it's not really about how much can you kill the Darkseer. A kill is a kill, sure, but it's more about can you stop Sing, and this Tide Hunter going to try to TP out here.
Yeah, there's going to be the Enchant Totem there, getting the passive off, and it looks like Relax is trapped. Sing will claim the kill there with the Mana Void. He wants the gold, he wants the glory, and now, well, that's going to put Sing at the top of the net worth on this anti-mage.
I gotta say, the Cuddle has been the one who's been making this lane work for me, personally, because even back at the very start where we saw that lane and it seemed a little bit iffy, it was Come With Me and the Illuminate spam that was able to keep those heroes at bay and ensure that Sing could continue to farm, even in a situation where I don't know if any other support could have done that for him. Like, what other hard support could actually zone out that many heroes on his own just by sitting in fog and spamming? Like, that's a pretty powerful utility, come to think of it.
Mid lane, Rise, he's got to be a bit careful. There's going to be a wraparound from Minuts looking for the Fissure, but can't quite get the edge. Arise just keeping himself safe and sound as he backs towards the south. And Paris actually heading away from the bottom lane now. And what's the planning with the Darkseer, going towards the jungle for a bit?
It's possible. The thing about Darkseer is his flexibility it's up there with some of the best. I mean, he can jungle if he wants to. He can continually gank. I find it interesting that he's actually opted out of any points in a vacuum this far. Like, he's gone for the max Iron Shell and 3 points in a Surge, but top lane, looks like they want to try to kill this AM. It's a tough kill, though.
Yeah, Relax, he's got the Ravage, and then, of course, Smoked up here. How are they going to lead in here? Well, probably the Anchor Smash, but Sing, he realises they're off the map. He's playing it safe, and yeah, it's just going to blink back to the tower. He doesn't like it one bit, and rightfully so. There's both of the supports. They were looking for some action, and even with the 3 points in Glimpse, not quite the range there to catch out the AM. They've got the wall placed behind the tower, ready for those kind of movements, so they're ready.
Now, that's also a smoke down as well. So that does hurt, basically Unknown. It's not to say that they need to end the game in like the next 10 minutes or anything. It's just dealing with a farmed AM is always harder than dealing with a not farmed AM for obvious reasons. It's just the longer the game goes, the more impact Sing is going to have on the game. And the other thing about Anti-Mage is that he's so independent of his team once he gets his 2 core items. Like, if he gets Battle Fury Manta or like Battle Fury Vlad's, like Yasha even, he can just do his own thing. And the rest of his team can concentrate on their own game, and he'll just continue to accumulate mass amounts of money. So he's kind of like taking time about this.
Nico Baby now for life still on board, just looking off into the jungle, but there's going to be actually rotation from Birdie coming into the jungle. Paris and Minus, there wants some action. They're going to look at Ogamaja. He's going to be able to get the 5 blast onto Minus, but the wolf being dropped now with the Fisher. Ogamaja's going to drop. Necroman gets the Sonic Wall onto 2 with the right clicks. Bring down Nico Baby as well, and he's looking for more now with the slow, with the dagger onto the man and the scream as well. But it might be himself and dropping. No, he's got the haste rune. Necroman's going to be alright. He's going to be able to get himself out. No, the glimpse is there into the Ravage. They want to bring down this quad. They also caught Paris and Minus on the edge of the Ravage, but they're not going to have the vision. They're not going to be able to chase those ones down. So they lose 2, but at least they find something in return, bringing down the Queen of Pain.
That was a very nicely timed Ravage, by the way. That wasn't even enough to even start a blink. Like, he was just stunned as he got glimpsed back to the origin of his character. But I still kind of wonder, like, these types of engagements where you're kind of losing your core every single time that they come on your side of the map, and Sing is up here, like, what is your fallback mechanism for basically unknown? Because you're supposed to be fighting, right? Like, they're supposed to be fighting as 5, Gyrocopter is a good fighting core, Leshrac is a good fighting core, and then you have Ravage, but they used the Ravage to kill a Queen of Pain. They still lost their core. They might be able to get Sing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. This time getting a glimpse into the Static Storm. He's got a couple of points now, boosting magic resistance, and it's not quite enough there, as Ogamaja is able to peep Sing, and that's a big kill. That's the kill they've needed. Come with me, he's coming in with an Invis rune. He's going to need a bit of backup here. Ping's coming out on the tower. And it is actually going to be Necroman joining the fray here, and maybe they can go for something. Pure Evil's going to spot this one out. Now with the TP from Nuts coming in, now he's got enough mana here for the Echo Slam, but the fight's actually going down south as well. Pure Evil's going to try and TP out. No, he's going to be able to get out. They've got nothing to cancel it. And it looks like no one's going to die. Nico Baby's TPing out, Necroman's coming in, he hasn't got a Sonic Wave, so the burst damage isn't there. Relax. He's just chilling in the trees.
Oh, they assumed he TP'd away.
Yeah.
They might have seen a teleport in his inventory and just guessed that he probably teleported out, but I guess that's going to save him, even though his TP's on cooldown for another 20 seconds. So fortunate for basically Unknown not to lose another hero.
And interesting to know, after all this kind of action, it's no longer Sing at the top of the net worth. It's actually a Riser on the Leshrac with over 5k.
Yeah. The Leshrac, though, is one of those heroes that...
Nico Baby.
Yeah,
cheeky wall there. He's hanging around a lane a little bit too low, and Paris, well, he comes in to take advantage of that one.
Yeah, the AM is going to be very strong against the Lesh, though, for a lot of reasons. Not just because Lesh has a ton of mana, and you can mana void him, but you have Spell Shield, right? So most carries are almost forced to buy BKB against that hero, where AM will likely only buy BKB if he feels the stuns are what are actually killing him, because otherwise he'll just make a heart, and then it becomes very difficult for Leshrac to burst him down in general, and then Queen will probably also be able to make a BKB. So Leshrac during the mid-late game, he does kind of fall off in terms of his damage output to the cores, but to the supports he always does insane DPS.
Indeed, I mean, Come With Me's progression's been pretty impressive as well on the Keeper. He's got the point booster and, well, he's about 200 gold away from picking up the second component of the Aghanims. We saw basically Unknown trying to go in there, but they're going to find the vision onto Sing, so they will be able to get the glimpse out. And now with the burst damage, it should be enough. The Ravage as well is going to catch all 3. They found Sing. Necroman's trying to turn it around, but the damage isn't there. No one falling on the side of basically Unknown, and Birdie United losing 2. We talked about the potential of the one-by combo from basically Unknown, and when it comes to team fights and these guys are focused, they're very good at this.
It's a really easy combo to set up too, because as soon as you get the Thunderstrike, the hero should pretty much be dead, right? Thunderstrike for vision. The AM is almost forced to blink away immediately. If he doesn't, he just gets Static Stormed anyway or stunned by the Ogre. And then if he does blink, he gets glimpsed back into a guaranteed Static Storm and a Kinetic Field, which lines up your other disables. So the combo is there for basically Unknown, and that's what I was kind of saying. I really enjoy it when they take this aggressive fighting style more than I like watching them farm, because the more they farm, the more time it gives Sing to continue to get items. But I guess right now he's about even net worth with Gyrocopter, a little bit higher, like 600-700. Not a huge margin, but he still doesn't have Battle Fury yet.
Yes, I mean, once he gets that, the farm's just going to increase at an exponential rate, isn't it? At a rate that's going to be hard for the Gyro to keep up with. Unless they find the amount of team fights that they've been doing so far, basically they've been able to include Gyro in a lot of the action, whereas Burn United, as you said, they've kind of been keeping the fights, or at least trying to keep them away from Sing. I mean, the net worth difference at the moment, just over 3k, XP-wise, around 5k, still favouring the side of Burn United. They do have this edge, and a lot of it as well down to the fact that Sox, of course, on Darks, 6.1k gold. He's got the mech complete. He's looking very, very healthy. And there's going to be a point when you've got here items like mech on Paris, and you
that's
can
an early blink.
Indeed, I mean, items like this as well. It's going to mean that when basically they look to fight, Birdie United are in a very good position to just turn around and give them a bit of welly.
Yeah, the early blink on the Shaker is going to be absolutely huge for them, because the way that they've been playing it so far, they pretty much drop everything on Sing. Like, they have to. They have to Static Storm to prevent blink. They have to Calypso and Kinetic Fields just so they can go for the kill. But now, with Minots having a Blink Dagger, the counter initiation with the Queen on top of that, their AoE combo is now online. So basically, Unknown need to be very, very cautious about how they take the next few engagements.
Indeed, and what we're going to see very deep in the jungle at the moment is actually the Kotal. All alone. He's going to TP out, and it looks like he will get away. No, the glimpse is going to be there because there was a TP in from Stamana coming into the tower to ensure the Cover Me doesn't get out. And, well, Kotal, I think he was hanging around a little bit too long there in the wrong jungle.
Yeah, at first it looked weird, but then I realized that the Disruptor had TP'd to the tier 2. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't just cancel that in his zone. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, he definitely got glimpsed. So, a nice pick. But now they also know that there is going to be offensive warding at the very least, because there's no other reason that he would be there. So probably going to see a Sentry and a couple of de-warding attempts done here by basically Unknown. And Burden's kind of in the woods, I guess, either trying to defend their ward placement or trying to maybe position for Roshan. But I think that's a little bit far away for both teams. Neither team has any hero with lifesteal yet, and that's kind of a necessity if you want to go for an early Roshan.
Bottom lane, we're going to see Darks here. He's going to surge himself away, but there's everything been dropped down. He's going to drop down the wall's defensive mechanism, but there's going to be the glimpse. He's going to be brought down into the Static Storm, cooldown, everything coming down as the Darks here. And that's going to be a very fruitful kill for the side. Disruptor able to get himself that extra 500 gold from that one.
I just think that if this was a best of 3 series, Disruptor would be banned in game number 2. Yeah. Like, that hero has done so much work for basically Unknown this game. He's been involved in 7 of the 10 kills on the team. He hasn't died a single time. Like, Stomanin is just beasting right now.
Necroman in the mid lane. He's going to blink away. Relax was watching, and there's going to be a glimpse though. They have got a Ravage if they want to use it here. Miner's coming in as well, and it will come out just in time to catch the Earthshaker. Earthshaker did get out of the Fissure, but it might not be enough to save Necro. No, it's not going to indeed. Necroman will go down here on the Queen of Pain. And again, some very nice Ravages coming out from Relax.
As timing has been on point, both Ravages that I've seen so far have been pretty well timed. So Sing, though, in that time that we saw 2 heroes die on the side of Burden, he did manage to secure his Battle Fury, and now he's got Treads on top of that. He's going to go off map now as much as he can, try to continue his farm. That does mean that other heroes on Burden will start to be picked a little bit more frequently, like we just saw Sakshka and the Necroman go down. But I still think that's the lesser of evils when Sing can just free farm on the map and not be noticed, and maybe somebody else from the team takes the fall. I think that's okay for the time being, as long as Burden don't get picked off too many times.
I mean, ideally, to the start of basically, do they need to kind of look to take control of the dire jungle, get some wards out, or, I mean, what do you do against the Sing AM at this point? Do you just look to fight the rest of the team and look to come out on top every time, or do you focus the anti-mage?
I think your fighting is still your strongest suit, for sure. So if you go in and you take some fights, you push tier 1 towers, that will automatically make Sing feel less inclined to farm his own woods, because as soon as that tier 1 safe lane drops, suddenly you have multiple avenues into the woods, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well I need more warding, or I need my team to start being more proactive to make me that space. So I think that pushing would be a good idea, but as of right now, you can see that Burden are actually the ones applying pressure.
Absolutely, jumping straight in here onto Relax. They're going to find the Fissure, and here we go. Static Storm's been dropped onto Necroman, and now he's stuck in the kinetic field as well. He's in a lot of trouble. They're going to go in on him. They've got the glimpse also. Stamana just bringing him back right into the center of it. The split-offs will follow up. Necroman will go down. Now the question is, can they find anything else down Minus? He's going to be able to blink away. Was being called out as well. So he gets out, but again, basically Unknown there with the response and coming out on top.
It's interesting that the fight ended up so poorly for Burden, because they even still have their offensive ward in the jungle. Like, the wards from basically Unknown missed. Like, they went 0 for 2. So I guess Come With Me TPing and the stuff that he did kind of made basically Unknown think that he might have placed a ward on that high ground. It's just a standard middle of the woods ward. So the fact that that fight went poorly, not great. But I know why they're doing it. Like, they're doing it to make sure that Thing isn't harassed. We saw, what, 4 or 5 heroes down there? That ward gives him the vision of, I can just farm, no worries for me. I'll continue making my way towards either the Manta style or the Vlad's. I'm kind of leaning towards Manta first, though, because I think his team's going to need him. Like, he needs Manta to be able to fight.
Indeed, and well, top lane. You're going to see a rise. He's coming out pretty far here, and there are 3 members on the side of Burden United. They're going to just jump straight in with the Echo Slam, the Fish to follow up, and he's going to get blown up there. Sing claiming the kill there with the Mana Void, and Rise just getting a little bit too greedy there with his placement.
I think that's what you call a got him moment. Just drop a couple of ultis on one hero that's worth a lot of money just to ensure that he goes down. But that's a really big deal. Even though he doesn't respawn that slowly because the Bloodstone. Taking away the charges is actually a fairly big deal. Like the mana regeneration from the Bloodstone, you get 200%, but you also get a lot of mana just from having the charges themselves, and that of course increases your movement speed. So the less charges he has, the longer respawns, then the less farming potentially he also has.
In return, the rest of the side are basically known, all four of them heading up to the top to apply some pressure onto this tier 1, and Icewell is just kind of left in the mid lane to pick up the slack. And it looks like with this basically unknown, they might be able to take this one down, and it's kind of a step towards shutting down the jungle of Sing Sing by being able to apply the pressure on that top lane. And Icewell, lucky to get away, the Minus was looking for the setup Fisher, couldn't quite find it. And Birdie United just choosing to apply the pressure here in the middle lane, and they will find the tier 1. More money for Sing Sing here on this AM, and indeed with the Yasha looks to be working towards that Manta, unless it's a casual Yasha at this point.
And both teams are playing it well though. Basically, no one realized they have to push towers at some point. Like getting the tier 1s down is necessary, even just for the fact that being able to get easier rushes for having tier 1s alive for Burden is like unacceptable. They can't allow the AM to ever get an Aegis or the Queen to ever get an Aegis, because that means they can continually play aggressive and make even more room for the AMs. So they push. Burden's reaction is, we know we can't really fight them 5 versus 5 because their AoE combo is just nuts. And we didn't have Shink Echo up because we used a top, but want to go for a rise.
They want to get a rise, but relax, he's there with the counter ravage. There'll be some burst down. Necroman Paris, he's in trouble as well. He pulls the mech, he starts to run, but there's going to be glimpse there, bringing him back into the Eco Baby here with the Rocket Barrage. He's going to try and run past the tower, but it looks like power will end up finishing him, and it certainly will. They get Darkseer as well here. And I gotta say, these team fights time and time again, basically unknown, they just seem to be pulling it off better.
They didn't have Echo. I'm really kind of confused as to why they stuck around for so long. As soon as they traded for towers, I thought, they would farm a little bit, maybe move back to their side of the map, because it was obvious that basically we're going to start TPing home after a while. I don't really think that they would feel too confident going to tier 2 right now. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and Minus living life on the edge here in the woods, just scouting out Nico Baby. They could TP one down, or you could just fissure randomly too, and give away that he's there. Alright, so much for that gank.
I mean, Sing, in terms of iron build, he's picked the on top of the Ashes, so I'd imagine going to go for that BKB then this game.
Yeah, the BKB is actually the safest choice in general. I was thinking about it after I said Manta, and then I'm looking at like Leshrac, how fast he killed the Manta, and then even just having Anchor Smash and stuff like that. The illusions don't really do anything for you. The only thing that you would be able to Manta really on the team is like Homing Missile and Glimpse if your timing is like perfect. And then everything else you're probably going to get hit by. So I think the BKB is the de facto I want to help my team fight choice.
My notes there, just get the Fisher out, blinks away. Pure Evil was looking for some action, and worth noting, Pure Evil and the Ogre doing pretty well. I mean, we're 23 minutes in, he's coming up to just being about 600 gold away from a completed Agony.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing work this game as well. He's always been on point, just making sure that he's following Shaman around for the glimpses, being able to follow it up. And the later the game goes, like having that extra disable is going to be huge. Just stopping the AM, for instance, when his BKB wears off, or just stopping the Queen from being able to put away, being able to stagger those stuns for a longer period of time is very, very nice. But you're talking about Aghanims. I'm going to come with me as well. He's got his Aghanims.
Yes, indeed. Well, so they're going to bring him back in. Just pushing your eyes back over the fish. There's going to be a glimpse, though. They're catching out the Earthshake, and they're going to be able to get a static stun down before Minus can throw anything out of the side. Bringing down the Earthshaker, and again, very nice combinations of skills being thrown out from basically unknown in perfect synchronization.
Disruptor, man. What a freaking hero. I actually think if they didn't have Disruptor on their team, that this game would be a lot different looking at this point. He even goes back for a Midas. Like, he's 208 Midas, right? Level 11, 25 minutes in. I wonder if he just goes straight Aghanims after this. I think it's maybe one of the better items you can buy in the situation, because having it against a BKB, buying AM, means that the AM almost has to BKB, like, immediately. And that can mean that sometimes your BKB usage isn't as efficient as you would want it to be during these fights. And against mass disables, which basically don't have, that's the kind of BKB that you want to, or Aghanims that you want to try to force out BKBs with.
Well, there goes a bit of a record there. 17th pound of Midas ever. Out of 1615 pro, 1,615 pro games. So.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's good because they're looking at this game and they're saying probably not going to end within the next 20 minutes or so, unless something like some terrible team fight happens for one side and it becomes like a bad team fight into Roche. Because we haven't even seen Roche drop yet, and it's rolling up on the 26-minute mark. One bad engagement could spell disaster for either team just because of Roshan being involved. But both teams right now seeming like they just want to hit some creeps for a while.
Yeah, I mean, two big pickups going out for Burden United. We just saw them being pointed out. The fact that the Darkseer and the Anti-Mage both now have a completed BKB. Now, with these BKBs, do they look to fight, or do they just kind of have them as a defensive mechanism? They'll just continue to farm, and Sing Sing, he'll kind of look for his next big item before actively looking for the heroes basically unknown.
It could honestly be either. Like, it's just whatever situation you find yourself in, right? Like, if Sing sees a team fight and he goes, I want to help, he can help with the BKB. That's a luxury that it gives you. Also, it protects you from getting ganked. Now, since he already has his Yasha and his Battle Fury, he's got the two items that he needs to accelerate his farm rate. And oh god, Necroman.
Ooh, they're not going to be able to find the glimpse this time. Necroman just able to get out of range. They'll continue to try and pursue here into their own jungle. They don't have any vision in this point, and Necroman will get the blink off, and he'll be able to TP himself back out there. So a little bit of smoke action there from basically not working out this time.
It was very fortunate that he was standing where he was. Just on the high ground, braving the smoke. That's, I think, the second failed smoke so far from basically unknown in this game. I mean, they have a kill lead too, but you can look at the net worth. It's reflecting the fact that Sing has not been pressured as much in the past, like, maybe 10 minutes or so as he was during the laning phase. And I mean, heck, they only managed to kill him 2 times. That's not really enough. You either need to pressure the map a lot, or you need to kill the AM a lot. One of those two things needs to happen.
Dealing with about 3.5k net worth advantage against Nico Baby Gyro. They've got to do what they want to try and close that gap. They're going to need to look for a lot of successful fights. And I mean, at the moment, 28 minutes in, we're not seeing that much fighting, because I kind of feel that Burden United, at least, they're very happy with kind of sitting back and just progressing. But at the same time, I don't think basically, I mean, they're not going to be too scared if it goes too long.
It's not like a guaranteed win for Burden if the game goes low. That is true. Because Tidehunter can always go back for things like Refresher. You can get your Aghanims up on your Disruptor. Those items do make a significant impact in the game, without a doubt. I'm just wondering, how are they ever going to go high ground or be able to group up as 5 in the late game? Because on paper, if you look at the team fights, it could go either way. Like, I could see either team winning in like a 60-minute game team fight, but are Burden ever going to give basically Unknown the team fight opportunity? That's the problem. Because if the AM already has BKB, they're pushing out lanes. They have Come With Me, who can permanently recall Sing to any point on the map. That becomes a huge nuisance. It becomes a split push game. And that game, Burden win.
The gem's going to be picked up now from the Disruptor, so they're going to look to try and maintain some of this map control, which is it's going to be hard though against the side of Burden United. Obviously, Coddle with the axe. Did Coddle pick up an? Yeah, he's got a gem on himself as well, so it's going to be a bit of a vision war now between the two sides.
Now, Coddle gives you a huge advantage during the day in the vision war, because you just like, oh, I see a ward like 8 million range away, because they pretty much have a Night Stalker vision during the day. It's very, very strong. You can see if I break out here.
Right, he's getting caught out by the fish, and Burden United, they've got the full 5-man following it up as well. Sing Sing blinking forward, but he's not actually going to get in range here, and there will be a very nice glimpse there from Sturman, and from the Fog of War, getting Sing Sing back away from Arise. Now Minos blinks forward, and it looks like Arise. Oh, he's got the backup here with Ravage. They're trying to turn this one. Wave coming out. Static Storm's been dropped, and he catches 360, pops the BKB. He's just get himself, but they've lost Paris. They might lose more. His Minos taking a lot of damage from the Rocket Barrage. Nico is to try and chase that down, and right click from Sturman, and they'll find 2. This is 2 for 1 so far. Blinking 4 from Relax. He gets the Gushman to come with me, and he calls 60 back into it. There will be the glimpse to send him back into the jungle, but a weird play there from Come With Me. I think 60 well, what are you doing, son? And now the rest of basically they're looking for more blink forward from Tidehunter. Come With Me looks for the TP out. He's not going to make it. Double kill for Nico Baby, and it ends up being a 3-for-1 trade, and what was an absolute mess there for Burden United.
Dem Ravages. That's all I'm going to say. Relax has been on point with his Ravages this game, and also Sing did not manage to get his BKB off in time for when the Ravage came out, because he pretty much blinked like on top of him, so your reaction time has to be like insane. Just snap, you have to pop it immediately. And by that point, Sing was already at, what, 10% health? Yeah, and then he had to bail. Like, he had to pop his BKB solely to run away. And when that happens, you just can't do anything anymore. Like, the fight is already lost. Had Sing maybe BKB before that Ravage comes out, I could have seen that being a different engagement. Now, Sing also finishes his Manta after the fight is over on the Courier while he's running away. So having the Manta during the next engagement could also be a pretty big impact item that we're looking at, and especially if he's able to jump on that Leshrac and get some auto attacks off and turn him into that bomb that we were speaking of at the drafting phase. But I guess Arise is going to have a 10-second BKB for the next engagement, as he has enough money for that as well. Game's still pretty much either team can take it. I think that because of the fact that Sing had to buy BKB, his rat game isn't as strong as it would be normally right now. Like, that BKB was even a basher or like halfway to a butterfly, he'd be able to split a lot more effectively, but he's going to need more time before he gets to that point now.
We're seeing on Nico Baby now, thanks to that fight, the completed Monkey King bar is going to be out on his way. So this Gyro in these fights, he's going to be dealing a lot of damage, and with the amount of control that basically Unknown have to keep Birdie United together, with the Kinetic Field, the Static Storm, the Ravage, that's a lot of time for this Gyro to be chipping away.
Yeah, if he gets his entire flak cannon off during a team fight, I mean, that's 6 extra hits, each doing like 260 damage apiece. That is very, very scary. The big thing for Burden is the Shaker and the team fights is going to be integral to them winning it. If he can get a good echo, like even 2 heroes is good enough, I think, at this point. Kind of what Relax did during the last engagement. Just get 2 high priority targets. You could probably walk away with a win on top of your darts, so you're well on a good vacuum. But if that doesn't happen, it's going to be a bit tough, and then you're relying very heavily on Necroman and Sing to just carry you through with their core item pickups.
And we're seeing the other club on Quat now, Necroman picking up a BKB, and I think BKBs, they're going to be massive. It's going to be all down to kind of the durations, the cooldowns in these fights, because there's so much magical damage and control coming out from both sides.
Yeah,
it's kind of be who gets caught out on the back foot in terms of BKBs when they jump on each other.
But those are the best kinds of games, right?
Yeah.
The games where it's pretty much decided solely by the team fights themselves and who plays better in those fights. That to me is like the best Dota to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 18-10 and Wallster, man, and he's going to find Paris here. Paris just pops the BKB and will TP himself out. Picks himself up a Blink Dagger as well. So Burning United, they have got a lot of initiation and, of course, counter initiation if basically Unknown look to jump on them.
Yeah, their team is actually disgusting, let's be honest. Like, Disruptor with Tidehunter, the amount of follow-up stuns that they already have, Gyrocopter as a core as well. Very, very strong lineup. I think basically Unknown have adapted quite well to the kind of style of this particular patch, because the last time we saw them, they were still picking the same old stuff that they were picking from 6.83. But they've kind of come full circle, even as a team who might not have practiced as much. Still very impressed.
Radiant's top tower is
He's 3.2k gold now on him. What do you reckon he'll go for next?
Well, I think he's either probably going to go for Butterfly or Basher.
They got the glimpse of Necroman. Necroman is going to turn around and look to take down Shaman, and he's going to find it. Pure Evil here with the multicast, controlling Necroman, keeping him in the Static Storm. Now the Forest Splinter, they do find the Quat, and I think that's a trade that basically they're going to be happy with, Quat for the Disruptor.
Yeah, that one for sure. Like any day of the week, they'll take that. Even though, unfortunately for Shaman, it's his first death of the game, so we'll have to have a moment of silence for him. I think it's actually amazing that in a 33-minute game, he's only died 1 time. I don't know, that's kind of crazy, given the lineup that Burden have. Their mobility is still very high, so being able to catch out a Disruptor shouldn't be so difficult to do. But either way, yeah, getting Necroman off the board is going to be to their advantage. But as far as Sing's items, he did go for the Basher, so I was kind of assuming it would be one or the other. I think the Basher might be the more fighting-oriented choice. It still gives you damage, of course, which allows you to push, but the more important thing is it transitions into Abyssal, which will be fantastic for catching out a Rise, and I think that's what he wants to do in every single fight. Either the Gyro or the Lash, you kind of have to go on him.
Okay, I mean, Roshan, it's going to be spotted out. No, it's Sam. We don't really see anyone try to contend at this point. It's no keep themselves together. Maybe they go for a bit of action here. And they got the smoke. Where it is, there it is. Here we go from the side of basically Unknown. They're going to try and look for a bit of funny business. Burden United at the moment, they're kind of fairly spread out across the map. This could be a good chance to find a pick-off. Towards the bottom, we're seeing Nuts and Paris sticking together, but now it's going to be a smoke into Roshan. We're going to see Unknown try and get away with it, and well, the amount of damage that this Gyrocopter's doing, they could very well do this pretty quickly.
They kill it very fast. No TV's coming in from the side of Burden. It seems like they're not really sure. Okay, now they know. They definitely do now. Come With Me's coming down here. I believe Necroman is also making his way over. There was a ward in the pit, but I don't think that one actually saw them smoke. I think they just kind of knew what was going on, considering Sing had not been ganked yet, and he said up lane getting close to the tier 3 tower. So
Indeed, looks like Sing's going to be happy with keeping on the pressure, and well, basically, they really want to try and find this rush before backing up. Paris has come in, but the BKB's been popped by the side of basically, and they want to fight into this. The wall's being dropped, which is going to break up the fight, and it looks like basically they're backing off. Now the question is, do they double back? Minus blinking forward, finds a very nice fish. In fact, the side of basically getting thrown back over it. Really, he's looking for Ravage opportunity.
Their base is dying.
No one quite finding a jump, and Sing's on the meanwhile. Indeed, he's going ham. They might find the kill onto Paris. There's going to be a sick wave onto a Rise, but now the Ravage catching out the Quap and the Costal. A Rise will now TP back to the base. It looks like Relax is going to return as well, but the tier 3's down, and they've already lost the melee rack here on the top lane, so basically Unknown. Are they going to be a bit cheesed off with that?
Well, not only that, but because they have a Cuddle on their team, they immediately recall Sing into the pit, and they're going to get Roshan off of this, plus complete Abyssal and Anti-Mage. So that was just being outmaneuvered, honestly. I think Verdun, they played that beautifully. Sing realized that they were in the Roshan pretty quickly, come with me, teleported down. The communication was just synced. They said, keep pushing the lane. If we need you, we can call you in. If we don't need you, then you can just get the racks for free. And they just changed them because they know if they stop any TPs, it allows Sing to get the racks for free. And even in the situation that basically Unknown turn around and start fighting, as long as Verdun don't give away the Roshan fight, then they're fine. Because Sing still does a significant amount of damage to the base. So all in all, brilliant performance out of Verdun so far in this game. I think that particular move might have put basically Unknown in a spot that they did not want to be in. Like, being a racks down against the farm AM is like a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point as well, with Bird United's lineup, how hard is it going to be for them to break the base when basically Unknown are actually there with the high ground defense?
Well, with Shaker Spam, Ion Shells, Keeper of the Light, it's going to be hard. Like, there's... The other thing, too, is can they even get to the base? That's the question that I was kind of posing earlier in the late game scenario where you mentioned you could see either team winning a fight. The fight isn't really up for debate anymore. It's just Verdun are going to look for these smaller engagements. They're going to let Sing continually push. He'll probably make his way to bottom at some point instead, and then have his team pushing out mid and top, because you always want to split push the lanes that are farthest away, because it takes the team longer to react to, unless they're going to bring a TP. But when that starts happening, Verdun are going to be looking for versus 5 engagements. So I'm not sure if basically they're going to get that chance.
Sing's going and he wants to find us on the beacon. He has been put by Arise. Relax is there as well to back up the left trap. But Sing blinking forward. He wants the kill and he won't find it because there's going to be the Bloodstone suicide. Sing will back up, but at least he's able to force that one out of Arise.
Yeah, the Mana Void was a little bit questionable, but I mean, a kill is a kill. Doesn't really matter if it's a suicide or not. And they just pull him bottom, and now they're just going to kill Shaman on top of this.
Yeah, straight onto the Disrupt. He melts. There's going to be the Fisher connects onto Pure. He got the Sonic away from Necroman flies through as well. That's going to be 3 heroes on the sideline for the side of basically Unknown. And we've seen how fast Bird United can push. This could very well be a second set of racks in a lot of trouble.
Well, they don't have any... They do have Glyph. I don't know, with a Gyrocopter's damage alone and a Ravage, they're going to be able to stop the entirety of Verdun with an Aegis on their AM. I think this is actually just double racks, for sure.
And now Sing just comes straight into Nico Baby. He's going to put the BKB in. Now going to turn around here with a flat cannon hit. He's going to force Bird United back. But well, back to hitting the racks as Sing gets on with it. And then will be able to find here this second set of melee racks here on the bottom lane. Well, maybe even looking for the range. He's might even look for a rise here. The Abyssal Blade gets dropped down and then Minus blinking forward. They want to bring it down. Fisher onto 2 with the Illuminate flying through as well. They're getting very low. And now with the Echo Slam catching both of them. They're lost 1, never lost 2. Nico Baby to fall as well. He's down for 73 seconds. Has not got buyback. We could be looking at the very ending of this game now as Bird United, they'll look to take this tier 2 and maybe even Megas.
The last thing for basically Unknown that they have going is their tier 2 middle is actually alive right now, so it gives them a little bit of time. It's going to be enough though for Nico Baby and Aurora to be alive. I'm just not sure. Right now, it's still only 3 heroes. They have not used their Static Storm yet. They haven't used Ravage, and they still have both available if their cores are actually alive for this push. But otherwise, no Glyph. Damage from Sing might just be too much.
Absolutely, with the fights we've been seeing so far, I want to see another kind of final stand from basically Unknown, but with these 2 key heroes on the sidelines still, I don't know if we're going to stop for the end of the game. Sing's thing. He's actually going to get glimpsed back here, and might just blink off and heads back to work here onto the tier 3. 24 seconds until Nico Baby's back. Maybe we will see him put in one final defense. It's going to be a hard one, and Sing well, he's ready to try and clear up. People going straight onto Shaman, and Minus there with the Fisher. They'll be able to find the Disruptor. And it's really going to be a final team with 1 man down, and maybe against Megas as well. He's going to look for the melee, and right from the BK, there's going to be the very nice Ravage from Relax there, but Necroman's there, and Sing just gets to work. He just right-clicks the heroes. He brings down a Rise. GG. Well, NN is going to be called by Rise. GG there, Stamana with the translation. And Bird United, ladies and gentlemen, win the first best of 1 of today, and we'll be progressing to the winner's bracket to play against the winner of Na'Vi versus NIP.
A very well-deserved win from Verdun. I kind of thought the AM might be punished at the beginning of the game. The Coddle ended up being huge to make sure that their tri-lane didn't just get completely dismantled, you know? But I gotta say, all in all, that decision around the Roshan fight, just continue pushing out the top lane, make sure that a Sing needs to be recalled back into the fight.